Hey everybody, what's going on? Thanks for joining me once again for another video. So I'm back with another short video. The reason being is at the moment we're in lockdown and it's also raining a lot outside, so it gives me time to make more of these videos, which is the upside, I suppose. Today I've just got a quick one for you, relatively speaking, quick, in the sense that I only have a small number of albums to show. I'm continuing down the alphabet in my existing collection and only talking about 3 albums. The reason why I'm only talking about 3 today is because the next band I actually have multiple releases by, so I don't want to make these videos too long, because generally I think people don't like that. But anyway, let me know what you think. Do you enjoy the longer or shorter videos? But I think in general, as a rule, people prefer the shorter ones, so they're more concise and they don't consume too much time. So anyway, we'll get straight into that in a moment. Just before we start, what I put on in the background, At the Gates with Slaughter of the Soul. Of course, this album needs no introduction, particularly on this channel, since I've already spoken about it. But yes, you know, classic melodic Swedish death metal, sort of pioneers in the genre, really. Like, this was the band which really started it off, in my opinion. And loads of bands ever since then have either been inspired by them or cloned their music. But yeah, as I've mentioned before, you know, this style of music is not exactly my favorite, but I do appreciate it from time to time, and there is a reason why I put it on, which will become apparent later in this video. So, At the Gates, Slaughter of the Soul. Okay, so just 3 albums to talk about today, 2 bands. So in my last existing collection video, I finished that mammoth Cannibal Corpse collection, so I'm actually on to a new band now. So without further ado, I'll just go straight into that. This is CARCASS with Necroticism Descanting the Insalubrious. So once again, CARCASS are a band which need no introduction to metal fans, pioneers and champions of the grindcore or death grind scene, you know, along with fellow UK bands like Napalm Death and so on. But yeah, this band is interesting because they've had quite a diverse career. If you look at how the music evolved over time. Just a spoiler for you, this is the only original album that I own by them, just for a couple of reasons. As I've already mentioned, I'm not the world's biggest grindcore fan, so I just don't get into like really purist grind all that much. And secondly, the first couple of albums, so Reek of Putrefaction and Symphonies of Sickness, particularly Reek of Putrefaction, were very extreme and muddy and seemingly impenetrable with the music. And I know, I'm not saying that as a criticism. A lot of people like those albums and consider them legendary. They are in the grind scene, but that's just not my number one style of music. But as you know, after Symphonies of Sickness, and I think particularly starting with this album, their music evolved more into sort of it became more death metal oriented while retaining elements of grind, and it became more melodic, so it actually changed. And then after this album, the band went in an even more sort of heavy metal direction, and then it almost became hard rock, and then later reverted. So they've gone through all sorts of phases, but in my opinion, this is the perfect album from them. The reason being, I consider it to be the perfect blend between the old and the new. So like the new stuff is like newer, like albums like Swan Song. They're very rocky, rock oriented, and then Reek of Putrefaction is extreme grind. This one, in my opinion, is just the perfect blend, the perfect balance between the old and the new. What I like about it is that it's aggressive yet melodic. It's technical yet it's catchy. It's all of those things mixed into one. And you probably think, if you've never heard this album, how the hell is that possible? Trust me, listen to it, and that's what it's like. Like, they're very extreme musicians, and like a lot of this stuff, like a lot of the blast beats and the vocals, it is a very extreme approach. But at the same time, it's always perfectly executed with precision and everything, and there's some like really amazing grips on melody, like guitar harmonies, guitar solos. So yeah, it's really just fantastic. Just show you the disc. So cool one with all the surgical tools, which is sort of a running theme with this band. I also like the back cover where it's got the remains, and that picture of the morgue is quite chilling because it's realistic. Then of course you've got the book, this legendary artwork here, that's just awesome with the 4 band members there. And this booklet, it's always been one of my favorite death metal art layouts. Just the lyrics superimposed over these rotting heads. And as you know, if you're not familiar, but CARCASS have always written those pseudo-medical kind of lyrics where it's really articulate, it's very technical, sometimes it's like hard to understand or even nonsensical, but that's part of the charm of this band, so that's certainly the case on this album. Anyway, this was the album where they became a four-piece, so it was the original lineup: Jeff Walker, bass and vocals, Bill Steer on guitar, and Ken Owen on drums. And then they added a second guitarist, Michael Amott, on lead guitar. So he went on to become famous in Arch Enemy, actually, which is interesting. But you can see why, because his guitar solos on this are very melodic, and it adds that melodic edge to this band, which was really cool. So yeah, as I said, I'm not going to go and dissect this in too much detail, but it's aggressive and melodic at the same time. It's technical yet catchy. Like, they've got some really sort of like chugging, heavy, chunky riffs which really plod along and you can tap your head or bang your head to. It's really awesome. And then they've got some like super fast, intricate blast beat parts. It's also got the twin vocal attack. So like Bill Steer has sort of got that raspy, almost black metal-esque snarl, and Bill Steer does the low guttural vocals, and often they do the different line change trade-offs and everything, so really cool. Just some amazing, brilliant guitar solos, like on the song Symposium of Sickness. Just great grip on melody by the two guitarists. So yeah, definitely check it out. That's all I need to say. Favorite songs on this, there are no bad songs, but in my opinion, you just can't beat the first four. In Propagation, Corporeal Jigsaw Quandary, actually Pedigree Butchery, and Incarnated Solvent Abuse. So yeah, they are my favorite tracks on this. Like, In Propagation was the first CARCASS song I ever heard, and there's some brilliant riffs at the end of that song. Like, it's a very nostalgic song for me. My favorite CARCASS song to this day, actually. Corporeal Jigsaw Quandary has got that legendary like kick drum intro and like that riff, like it's just infectious, great. The other track that I really like is Forensic Clinicism, the Sanguine Article. Like, just some, again, amazing grooves, melodies, and chunky chugging riffs on that song. So just awesome. So if you haven't heard this album, definitely check it out. I recommend it. Actually, apart from this one, the other album that I really like is Heartwork, the one which followed this, which went in an even more melodic direction. But I think this album and that album are just like the perfect blend of all their elements. So anyway, that's CARCASS with Necroticism Descanting the Insalubrious. That's a mouthful. Alright. Okay, up next we have a band which is slightly different, but incidentally, their name is inspired by a CARCASS song, so maybe that gives you a hint there. This is Carnal Forge with The More You Suffer. So Carnal Forge are a band from Sweden, and you see here I've got this from the Red Eye Records. They always put descriptor labels on it, and it says new 2003 albums of speedy melodic death from the concise Swedish clan. So I'm not sure if they meant precise there when they said concise, but anyway, yes, if you're not familiar with Carnal Forge, the name that's inspired by a CARCASS song from the Heartwork album. Basically this is, as that label said, it's melodic death metal, but it's also juxtaposed with thrash metal. In fact, I think this band started out as a Slayer cover band, you know, when I read their history, as a lot of bands did. But yeah, then they evolved into melodic Swedish death metal, so hence the At the Gates choice in the background. Yeah, I got this in Red Eye just as a, you know, this was back in the day, like 2004 or something, just because I saw it secondhand and I thought, yeah, I'll give it a try. And I actually really like it. It's an awesome album. So basically what you've got is very energetic, fast and precise melodic death metal with a lot of aggression and thrashy elements. Kind of shouty vocals in the vein of a lot of those melodic death metal bands, but it really is just brilliant. I think this band's unique. I've said before that a lot of melodic death metal bands, you can't really tell them apart, but I think this band really does stand apart for several reasons. So, just show you the disc first of all. Clearly written titles on the back. This is a kind of cool cover art, the bathtub of blood. Actually, it's quite full on. Yep, and then you've got readable lyrics again, even now for me, which is great, considering my eyesight, and band portraits. Yeah, very cool. And I think, judging by the names of this, they might have had some Finnish Swedes or Swedish Finns on this album based on their surnames. But anyway, yes, very, very good album. If you just like high energy melodic death metal with a tinge of thrash. This will be right up your alley. I just love this. Like, what I also like about it is the songs, they don't all blend into one. They're actually standout tracks. In fact, the majority of tracks stand out. Like, really hooky riffs, memorable choruses that you can sing along to, and just the energy. It's almost euphoric, actually. Like, you want to put this album on when you're setting out on a busy day or something like that. Like, it really gets me going, especially when exercising, something like that. It's great. So yeah, just so those sort of anthemic choral, like all the members are shouting in the choruses, like it's very, very catchy. So just awesome stuff. This whole album, I would say, is brilliant. Like, I would say this album would be at least a 9 out of 10, honestly. No bad songs at all. Some of my favorites, though, the first 4 just like absolutely destroy. Like, they are HBF Suicide, Hell, Blood, Fire, Suicide. Great shouty, memorable chorus, Hell, Blood, Fire. Also Death Blow, track 2. Track 3, Ripped and Torn. Track 4, Destroy Life. Like, they're all great songs. Also, track 11, Baptized in Fire. Like, great shouty pre-chorus on that song. Like, very, very memorable. My absolute favorite track on this album, though, is track 7, which is Deep Rivers of Blood. Just the most amazing grip on melody and really hooky riffs. And, like, that song is like an anthem. It's just a mammoth song. I can imagine that song being played in a stadium, actually. That's how good it is. Like, very sing-along, absolutely fantastic. So, hope I've sold you on this. They really are worth checking out. I think they've evolved over time as well. Like, you know, sometimes they toy with thrash, but like this one to me, out of the ones I've heard, is absolutely the best. And like, I would say it's 9 to 10 out of 10. So if that's up your alley, think of bands like, I'm not saying they sound exactly like this, but if you like bands such as At the Gates, Arch Enemy, especially old Arch Enemy, also Children of Bodom in a sense, but like I said, they don't sound exactly like those bands. But just think of the energy, the melody, the aggression, the precision. Then you will like this. And also, like, they remind me of Children of Bodom in the sense they have those choral, collective shouted choruses and everything. But anyway, awesome stuff. So that's Carnal Forge with The More You Suffer. Okay. So the next album is also by Carnal Forge. Okay, and this one's called Aren't You Dead Yet? Incidentally, that's interesting, isn't it? Because Children of Bodom had an album called Are You Dead Yet? This album's called Aren't You Dead Yet? Now, I'm not sure which came first. Maybe, I'm not sure if one ripped off the other, or it was a conscious choice or whatever, but anyway, this one's called Aren't You Dead Yet? Pretty cool cover art. You see here, the center of the disc. That's making, they've etched that out to make it like the bullet in the head. And you'll see here, this says, promotion only, not for sale. That's because I bought it secondhand in Thailand from this shop where they used to always sell this bootleg dodgy stuff. So anyway, I think he might have given me this one for free when I was making some other purchases. But anyway, actually a very good album as well. So just show you the booklet here. So you've got the bullet hole in there. Yeah, so essentially this is more of the same stuff, like aggressive melodic Swedish death metal. Again, this album, I would say though, the production is slightly different. It's sort of like, it's got more bottom end in it. So like, The More You Suffer is like a classic melodic death metal sound. This one is more sort of like chugging, chunky and heavy. And it takes more influence from thrash metal, this album. So it's not like purest melodic death metal. It also contains a strong Slayer influence. I can't remember which song it was. Damn it. No, I can't remember. But there was one song when it really reminded me of some Slayer riff, like from South of Heaven era. And it also reminded me of slightly of a Hypocrisy song, To Escape Is to Die, I think. So, yes, again, indicative, like Hypocrisy are a melodic death metal band too. But you get the picture of what this sounds like, hopefully. Yeah, so this one, the other thing I'll say about this one is it's basically more of the same thing, but it is lower, it's heavier, and also, unlike The More You Suffer, there aren't so many standout tracks on this album. To me, like, it sounds like it's more like a good overall album where it blends into one, like no nonsense, like heavy, thrashy, melodic death metal. So yeah, just really good stuff. Again, very full of energy, precisely played and everything. And a bit heavier than the previous one. This one came out in 2004, so the following year. But yeah, I said no standout tracks No, well, not no standout tracks, just not as many as the other one, but to me, my absolute favorite song is track, I'm just trying to find the track number 7, Inhuman. Inhuman has just like got a brilliant thrash groove in that song. You can't deny tapping your head along, tapping your foot along to that song. It's just really, really catchy. Again, quite Slayer influence, but like it's just got the best thrash groove. It's such an amazing song. So I really like that one, Inhuman. But as I said, the overall album is fantastic. Just not as many standout tracks as the previous album. However, just as an overall listen, it is really, really satisfying. So that's Carnal Forge with Aren't You Dead Yet? Alright guys, so an uncharacteristically short video for me, but hey, maybe this is a fresh change. Maybe people like this more because it's not going on too long, but let me know what you think in terms of video length. So that's all I'm going to say for now. Got loads more stuff coming up, and one will probably come out soon, so wait and see what I do then. Once again, thanks a lot for watching this video. Thanks as always for your support of this channel. If you haven't subscribed and you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and don't forget to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. I'd really appreciate the support. So in the meantime guys, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.